Hey, what's up people? How you doing? This is the one and only Dennis T, and you're on the record. We Sports live Tuesdays and Thursdays 8 o'clock, but you already know this because you're watching. But if you're not, you could catch it again. Look for the replays, look for it online on the YouTube channel. Tonight we have a very special guest, the man in charge of Trinidad and Tobago's #1 sport, track and field, President Ephraim Serrette. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. And you got it correct there, the #1 sport.
Yes, it is. It's by far the #1 sport in terms of participation, in terms of success. Definitely, you know. We see a lot of people kicking ball, but we still only have that one World Cup appearance. You know, but we have now, thank God, 2 Olympic gold medals. 2
Olympic gold medals, 2 World Championship gold medals.
Right. So talk about that for a second, you know.
Well, the World Championship gold medals, I mean, they came, you know, far in between, you know, Hazley in '76, Keyshawn last year, and then we had Atto.
Right.
And now J. Hugh in 2013.
Right, you know, you call her name there, Hazley Crawford. We were talking before the show. You can't get everything on this because it's only 1 hour. But you know what? You no slouch yourself. I mean, you have some serious pedigree on this track there.
I competed between the years 1973 to 1984. I would have held the national junior record for 23 years. And I was the first person to be the junior and senior champion in the same year.
Right, right. So, but also a student athlete as well.
Yes, I got a government scholarship, attended Fairleigh Dickinson University, and then came back home, and given my contribution back to the sport that has given to me.
Right. You know, a lot of times we hear about, you know, the national sporting bodies getting that knock, and I know you didn't want to talk about it. So I go and leave it there. You get the knock about you're not raising enough funds. You're not doing enough this. You're not doing enough that. Right now, what is the status of NAAA funding? Well,
with the new arrangement with the government and the Ministry of Sport Company, we fall under the sport company. They would get their allocations and then they would decide which sport gets what. Understanding the budget in Trinidad and Tobago, when they tell you have 688 million for the year, that's just a figure.
Half of that is actually paying off some loans, which
but you don't really get that. So that in the case of track and field, if we give them 3.4, our operating budget around 8.28 million, once we know that early, we have been over the years putting things in place to meet the shortfall. So in the case, what we did is we have a contract with Adidas, which brings us the
That's a kit contract, right?
And we also have a retainer with them as well. So we are actually saving government funds there where they don't have to source uniforms for our national teams. As a matter of fact, we supply other national teams with uniforms.
I know that, right? Actually. Yeah.
So we have a retainer with Adidas that brings us up. And then we have going in 11, 12 years now, partnership with Sagicor, and over the last couple of years we have built with NGC, Petrotrin, Phoenix Park, Blue Waters. So we are out there. Well, not really, but we have been out there working with. I mean, corporate T&T really needs to get on board where sport is concerned. We continue to talk about sport and the effect on crime and all of that, but we need to have more corporate sponsors on board, buying into supporting sport in general in Trinidad and Tobago. But then, there's so many disciplines, who's going to win and whether they're going to put some here or put a particular percentage at another sport. Those are some of the things that we have to work on. But we have some dedicated sponsors who have been, confident and supporting what we have been doing with respect to the development of the sport. So that we have been working and we continue to work to see if we can bring other sponsors on board.
You call 2 figures, 3.4, 8.
About 8.2 is the operation budget.
So you're saying that the NAAA has been able to raise the balance?
We have been doing that.
So all the knock is what? Just pong then? Because it can't be serious if you're raising more than half of your budget.
It's not really
outside of the ministry.
in some instances, we may fall short and we have to ask for some supplementals. But in the most part, we try to source our sponsorship. Take, for instance, this past year, our National Open Championships, which runs us, the budget for that is a little over $500,000. We would have done that without support from sport company.
Okay.
Right? And we share that. We don't have anything to hide, so that some people would have the funds and still feel that they could get more funds from the sport. But we meet with them. We say, well, look, we think we're able to cover this, so we don't. It come like a bad begging. We don't do that. So we let them know what we have and what is required of them during the day, for us to run our sport.
One of the questions: how many, in terms of the executive that runs the entries, how many of those executive positions have a stipend or salary?
The only paid position full-time in the executive is the secretary.
Right. So that person is a full-time professional secretary.
Full-time secretary.
Right.
And what we are working towards, we have in the last year or two, we have been incorporated under the Companies Act.
Right.
So next fiscal, what we have catered to do some constitutional reform.
Not 2014 fiscal.
2013-14. 2013 into 14, because we have our AGM is on the ending of this month.
Okay.
So going into the next season, we have planned to have some kind of constitutional reform, because we have people come, continue to talk about this constitution and the constitution. The constitution that we have right now has served us well, and it would have worked for when the sport was an amateur sport, and we know sport is now big business, so we now have to restructure. We have to do some reform and have a constitution that would help us to get to that level. So you're talking about a constitution which may call for a reduced numbers, where the executive at this time is 17, and you have a more professional look, so that you're able to advertise, to get a CEO, a legal person on board. So again, the skill sets that is required in order.
But you'll still have your elected.
You will still have elected
board
positions,
of governors,
right?
if you want to call it that.
So you may change from an executive to a board, So that those are some of the things that we are playing around with respect to the change in the whole management of the sport.
Once you get a special advisor, I'm going to leave that one there. People, we want to get your calls, 225-9476. We're here sitting with the president of the NAAA, Ephraim Serrette, and we want to come back just now. Remember, top up your credits. When you get the call, you might have to hold on a little second. Keep to the point, and don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Tonight.